changed from the point of view that none of us can look at his picture without just getting the heebie-jeebies about the whole thing. In that 2 years, what has changed? And Liz Dux, from your point of view, because you're the head of abuse at Slater and Gordon, who represents so many of Savile's victims, we're talking about 174 here. What has been achieved? Have these people been compensated? Is that happening?
No, I mean, as we stand at the moment, very few of them have achieved the closure that they want. They have all, where relevant, given evidence to the various inquiries. We're still awaiting 2 major reports, one from Stoke Mandeville and one from the BBC. They are sitting there in limbo at the moment, feeling that 2 years ago they have bared their souls. Some of them have gone back to the very places where they were abused to help with the inquiries. They feel that they are living this trauma still. They see his
the sores
picture,
have been opened
and there's
no
nothing
healing
at the moment to heal it, and that is a big issue.
Because they had, you know, some people threw criticism at some of the victims, saying, "Oh, you know, they're just after money." But you say it's so much more than that. Even if they did get some compensation,
it's so much more. First of all, the amount of money we're talking about is tiny. I spoke to a journalist the other day and told him how much they might get, and he said, well, that's about 1/3 of what I got for having my phone hacked. But for them, it's not the money, it's the recognition that they are telling the truth, and it is closure. And they feel, a lot of them at the moment, that he is still laughing at them from the grave, because they haven't managed to achieve that ending that they need yet.
I think that's so important, Mark, that's come out of this, and we've talked often on the show, is that people feel they will be believed where they hadn't felt they would be believed before. Is that going to be a big change that you think has come through all this? We've obviously seen other celebrities who have been all part of Operation Yewtree, much more out in the open now, and people saying it doesn't matter when it happened to you, you can still come forward. Whether it's somebody well known or not, we must stress.
But I think the massive thing is, 2 years on, is we've given people a voice and we've believed them. And whilst there isn't entire closure in terms of what Liz talks about, I think if you talk to many of those victims, they never thought they were ever going to be in this position where Savile was going to be exposed. This was a man who was totally and utterly powerful. Nobody ever stood up to him previously. And the fallout from that programme, you know, that programme happened because of 5 brave women. I was a vehicle of it. I enabled the programme to be investigated. But it would never have happened without those 5 women. So those are the people to which the rest of the United Nations need to pay praise to.
Okay, my friend, but then we get Operation Yewtree and we get names in the public eye put forward, the Rolf Harrises, the Max Cliffords of this world. And yet, we still have 1,400 children over 16 years in South Yorkshire Police Force's domain, and all abused and very little happening about it. So is it all about kick a celebrity?
No, it's not, because actually what has happened is that we've been allowed now to put, if Savile hadn't been exposed, Rolf Harris would not be in jail, Max Clifford would not be in jail, and that's a direct consequence of that. Yes, police and children's services need to step up to the mark, and what's happened in Rotherham, what's happening in other places, there are other people out there who are incredibly powerful who need to be prosecuted, right? Their time will come. I'm sure their time will come. What we need now to say is that, no matter how powerful you are, the law will come after you. If we can take down the most powerful people, the Cliffords, the Rolf Harrises, then everybody is touchable. Everybody can be done.
And do there need to be changes to the law, Liz, to enable that to happen?
Yeah, they're definitely, I mean, the victims definitely want to see some positive come out of this. They all talk about that. And one of the changes in the law that we're calling for, which certainly, it's not the panacea to everything, but it certainly would have helped, for example, in the cases like Stoke Mandeville, in cases like school abuse, where the organisations are trying to protect their reputation and they're putting that above what's happened to those in their care, is this change in reporting, mandatory reporting, to make it compulsory, that if you're in a regulated activity and you know about abuse, that you pass that on. And that is now backed by Labour, it's now backed by the Liberals, and obviously we want the government to back that so it becomes a cross-party manifesto for the next election.
And we have to hold people to account. This is the issue that's there now, is that the reports that will come out of the BBC, the reports will come out of Stoke Mandeville, will identify that people knew about abuse taking place. Exactly the same in Rotherham. Let's get to a position where these people in power, in positions, who are finally held to account. And until we start to do that, we really won't get to the crux of the problem.
Well, let's hope that happens.